Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. I'm here to talk about all the TV shows I watched during the last quarter of the year. So we are going to start off in May now. I watched season 1 of Rosario Vampire. I don't know if it's Rosario and Vampire, Rosario plus Vampire, Rosario 2 Vampire, I don't know. I do have, I believe, a series of the manga review for season 1. Like, the series of manga is also split up into season 1 and season 2. I don't know why they call it that when it's books and not like a TV show, but it still does. I'm pretty sure I've got a review on those. It was a while ago, so I don't know if I stand by anything that I talk about there, but I'm sure that's on the channel for you to peruse if you'd like to. But as for the actual TV show, season 1, 3.5 stars. It's very lewd. I don't know how I read this manga back in secondary school, and I probably should not have been reading this sort of content. Basically, we're following Skune, who somehow finds himself thrown into this magical monster school where everybody is kind of cosplaying as humans. I guess the main goal is to kind of have them assimilate calmly into the human world as monsters without like frightening them and things like that. But the whole idea of a human being in the monster school is a no-no, and basically Skune is told throughout the whole time of him being there, if anyone finds a human on school premises, they're gonna get killed. So it doesn't really make sense when you figure the goal of the whole school is to, you know, make humans and monsters kind of be friendly with each other. Anyway, that's besides the point. It was really cringe to watch, but not badly so, I would say. It was fun, it was over the top, and it was very formulaic in terms of the episodes. Like, you knew what was going to happen, and it just followed that formula episode by episode. It's easy watching, especially considering that I had it on whilst I was doing other things around the house, crocheting, other hobbies, that sort of thing. And yeah, it definitely cured that curiosity, because I had seen, again, around the time when I was originally reading the manga when I was like a kid, I'd seen a couple of the odd episodes, but I'd never watched it like from episode 1 all the way to the end of at least season 1. Following up with another anthology series, this is Love, Death and Robots season 1, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. And after a couple of people in a quick succession of time were continuously telling me that I should watch this, I finally sat down and did so. It's something that my partner has been wanting me to watch with him for a while. He's seen like at least the first 2 seasons a couple of times, and it's one of those things that he would, you know, regularly stick a random episode on and kind of just have it on whilst he potters along. But to sit there with him and watch it from, you know, front to back was something that he wanted me to do with him, and I did, and I enjoyed it. It is a not safe for work anthology animated series that really showcases a plethora of animation styles and storytelling quirks. A lot of the time I did find the inclusion of violence to be rather needless to the delivery and progression of the stories that they were telling. It just seemed to be explicit for the sake of being explicit, but overall I was really impressed with the detail, the uniqueness, and how different yet interlinked most of the stories felt to each other. I felt like at least 90% of the stories had some sort of connection with another one of the episodes somewhere along the season. One of my favourites of season 1 was probably the last episode, where a pair of door-to-door salesmen get stranded in the desert and are exposed to this enchanting and terrifying phenomenon of animal ghosts floating above them. Jumping straight into Love, Death and Robots season 2, I also gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. And once again, one of my favourite episodes just happened to be the last one, and it was the Drowned Giant. This is one I do remember seeing like on the occasions when my other half had these seasons playing on in the background, and I was really intrigued by that, and I was watching it, so I had seen it before, but to sit down properly and watch it, it was just even more breathtaking and thought-provoking and eerie and strange. It just leaves me melancholy and questioning. It is morbid, it's reflective, and it's just a very sad episode. I find it does put me in a really odd state, but I like it. It's really weird. it ends the season quite poetically, I would say. Firing away now into June, I watched the Fred and Rose West, a British horror story documentary on Netflix. I don't have a rating for this one, but it was a deeply unsettling and disturbing, upsetting story. I'm not sure I've ever really known the full background to the Wests and their crimes, and the splicing of the original documentary they made whilst the crimes were kind of being investigated, you know, at the time, to the updated one that Netflix had put together. Although confusing at first, it was pretty well done, and it kind of helped to put things in their place to see how things like information was taken in at the time versus now, how people reacted to certain events versus now. It was interesting to see the nuances of detective journalism, I guess you could say. Very informative, very moving. Now onto a adult comedy animated TV show which is on the 4OD box set thing, Teenage Euthanasia season 2, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't realize that I literally had a couple more episodes until the end of this season, and that would complete the series as a whole. So I did drag it out for a little while unintentionally, and then I was just like, oh, now I'm done, what do I do now? It's a shame that it did get cancelled because it was a really funny show. It was weird and it was perfect for nights when you don't really want to watch anything serious, but you're not really sure what you want to stick on. It's basically following a family, a very discombobulated family who own a funeral home business, and we have a teenage mum who goes out, parties, wants to live her own life, and overdoses and dies, yet she's brought back, like her body is brought back to the care of her teenage daughter called Euthanasia. Oh, it's awful. It's so funny. And with the magic, you see all this happening in like the intro of the opening credits, with the magical tear of Euthanasia, nicknamed Annie. The mum like wakes up and she's like a living corpse, a zombie thing with demon crotch powers, which are like bugs that come out and can control things. It's really crazy, really weird. I would have liked at least another like season because I do think it's a really fun show. But yeah, I'd recommend that if you're into that sort of thing. I've been back into another season of Love, Death and Robots with season 3, which once again I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. It was so good to see these robots again, which seem to be like a reoccurring trio of characters within the series so far. This story kind of reminds me of TJ Klune's In the Lives of Puppets, if any of you have read that book. Bad travelling on the ship with the crab monsters was dark and gritty and really questioned your morals and what you perceive to be right and wrong. I think the most memorable episode for me though, and another favourite potentially, was, can you guess it, once again the last episode. They just really go out on a bang each time. In this case the episode was called Jabari. It was visually confusing in the best way and absolutely stunning. The story really pulled me in, and I was captivating, if not unnerved. If I maybe didn't understand exactly what was going on, I was visually hooked anyway. So on to Hazbin Hotel, which I gave a 4 stars, and I realised my notes automatically made the hotel into like a cute little pink emoji. So I originally started watching this last year. I got 3 episodes in, I think, and we sort of just fell off of it. Probably going to sound really silly, but it felt, I think for us at the time, too musical. Forward to now, and me and my other half, we just like binged through the rest of the episodes, really finding ourselves hooked, getting the humour, getting more into the quirks of the show and appreciating it. I was laughing out loud, silently watching the vulnerable moments and like feeling all the emotions and vibing to the music as well. The illustrations were so good. They've got the Hell of a Boss, right, which I feel like is similar company that made it. I don't know if they're actually connected, but I feel like I've read somewhere that they're in the same world, so you might hear some overlap of character names, but I don't know if you necessarily see them. Please correct me if you know more about that and I'm wrong, because I'd love to know a little bit more of the lore there. I then watched Ranma, is it half? Ranma one half, Ranma half, I don't know. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. This was so good. It was really silly, super over the top, and just really good fun. It's basically following this character who called Ranma, who is betrothed to this other character whose name I forgot off the top of my head, and basically they are both in the like fighting arts, but Ranma has this weird issue that whenever he gets thrown water on, he turns into a girl. So there's that to contend with, and of course in the first couple of episodes it causes a lot of confusion, and it's like, who are you, what are you doing here, what's going on, right? And it's just batshit crazy, honestly. I believe this is a remastered or a redo of like an original series with the same name, because the colouring and everything looks crisper and newer and the art style looks different. But I think there is an older version, and this has just been like modernified in terms of art style and colours and stuff, not in terms of content, because some of the content is questionable. I really liked Akane, which is the betrothed's name, and Ranma, and I loved their dramatic interactions. The end didn't feel complete though, so I don't know if there is a season 2, if one's in the works, what's going on there, because it just kind of ended for me. After that, I watched another documentary, this time on Disney Plus, and that was Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Frank, or Ruby Franke, I don't know. I've been meaning to watch this for a while, and I finally got around to it. It's a really short mini docu-series containing 3 episodes, informing the level of sheer cruelty, really, of that the Frankie children went through whilst growing up in the 8 Passengers family, which were a YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, they were family vloggers, and they were part of the Mormon faith. And I say that because a lot of what transpired began through the twisting of Ruby Frankie's beliefs, and it kind of got extremist in punishments, in rules, in how she basically disciplined her children, and it kind of stemmed from her faith, but it just went no way that any faith would want you to go, basically. I remember watching the fallout of this as it was happening, but even then I don't think I could really comprehend the level that these children were experiencing, like how deep the abuse went. This was a really well pieced together documentary, I would say, but my only issue being that the dad, Kevin, just wasn't held to deeper questioning and speculation, and I feel like he was held in a softer light and was let off a little bit in this. He wasn't questioned as much as I think he should have been. Continuing on with the Mormon theme, but a complete opposite spectrum, I've been binge watching the reality TV show The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I watched season 1. I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Oh my gosh, it's like Pretty Little Liars, but like add 100% on top of that. There was this whole mum talk scandal, right, where these Mormon wives were swinging and getting into each other's businesses and sharing husbands and things like that, and then that was brought to the attention of everyone apparently, and then they had to deal with the backlash of that because obviously it did not go with their faith. They were being very outspoken, quite confident and proactive in like women's rights and things like that, which traditionally apparently the faith is not on board with. So there was a lot of backlash from that. So now we have a show kind of following that sort of setup and what happened next, I guess. This was messy. When I wasn't mesmerized by how good looking everyone was, like seriously, why is everyone hot in this show? I was disgusted by how petty and bad natured the majority of these people were. Like, I can't lie though, it was super entertaining, and I definitely went on and continued with season 2, which I also gave a 4 out of 5 stars. And honestly, this season was just as messy as the first season, with an introduction to some new people that sort of mixed things up, spiced things up a little bit, and provided a bit more context to the original scandal of the swinging stuff, because they were involved in that and now they're back to tell their side of things, which was it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I have a couple of other mentions just before we wrap this video up. So I went to the theatre back in, it must have been April, and I went to see Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief the musical, and it was fantastic. The songs were brilliant and the actors did so well. Also around this period of time I watched the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the original one. I can't remember what year it came out, but it was fun, nostalgic, and I had it mainly on as like background noise, but I really enjoyed it. I'd only ever watched the one, the more modern day one. I can't remember the guy's name, you know, the Hobbit, the guy's name, the Hobbit dude's in it. I can't remember his name. I've also watched another documentary called Bad Influence, the dark side of kidfluencing. This is about the current toxicity that is kid influencers and the kind of awful parasitic relationship with social media, and more specifically about Piper Raquel and the allegations against her mum and her mum's boyfriend part. I don't know what they are. Hunter, the guy that's really involved with all the filming and stuff. It was crazy. It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff and it was quite disturbing. So that is it, my friends. That is all that I wanted to talk to you about today. If you've watched any of these shows that I have discussed this video, do let me know your thoughts and feelings of them too. And if you have any suggestions of what I can watch these next couple of months, do let me know in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye.